Before toilet paper was invented, people turned to all kinds of unimaginable methods for cleaning themselves: corn cobs, rope, broken pieces of pottery, even a communal sponge attached to a stick. For most of human history, hygiene after using the toilet was uncomfortable, unsanitary, and sometimes even seriously risky. So how did that ordinary roll of paper found in almost every home today become one of the world's most essential products? Here's the history of toilet paper. It's something almost everyone uses several times a day, and yet we almost never think about it. But the invention of toilet paper is deeply connected to urbanization, disease prevention, industrialization, and even global panic. What you're about to see is the story of one of the most ordinary yet most important inventions, one that took humanity from primitive cleaning methods all the way to modern toilet paper and, fundamentally, changed civilization's approach to cleanliness. For most of human history, people used whatever they had on hand. In ancient Rome, the public used something called a tessorium, a sponge attached to a stick. After each use, it was rinsed in salt water and reused by the next person. In ancient Greece, broken pieces of pottery were used instead. In coastal regions, seashells. In rural America, corn cobs. In medieval Europe, rags, leaves, moss, whatever people could get their hands on. Since there was no plumbing system in the sense we know today, there was no standard notion of hygiene, which meant that waste management was already a major problem, and toilet hygiene only made it worse. Paper itself was actually invented in China around 100 BC, but people didn't discover it could be used for cleaning until much later, around the 6th century AD. Records from the period show that paper was used in China for bathroom and personal hygiene purposes. Over time, this habit became so widespread that by the 14th century, the Chinese Imperial court was producing more than 700,000 sheets of toilet paper every year. During the same period in Europe, people were still making do with rags, straw, and various plant materials. So why hadn't they switched to paper? Because paper was extremely expensive. At the time, paper wasn't a disposable, everyday item. It was a valuable material. Using something once and throwing it away was a luxury most people couldn't even imagine. But in 1857, an American named Joseph Gayetty produced and sold the first commercially packaged toilet paper. He marketed it as medicated toilet paper. Unlike the rolls we know today, it was sold as individually cut flat sheets, enriched with aloe. In fact, Gayetty was so confident in his product that he printed his own last name on every single sheet, so people could see exactly whose product they were using with every sheet. A move that was both bold and a little strange. But the product never really took off because most people were still using newspapers and catalogue pages. In fact, for many American families, the most common toilet paper wasn't a product at all. It was the Sears catalogue. Once the useful pages had been read, they made their way to the bathroom. Sears was so aware of just how common this was that some of their catalogues even had a hole punched in the corner so it could easily be hung on a nail next to the toilet. For the time, it was a remarkably practical and economical solution. The real breakthrough came in 1890. The Scott Paper Company introduced toilet paper on a roll. It was perforated, convenient, and standardized. But early toilet paper had a rather unpleasant problem: splinters. Yes, you heard that right. Wood splinters. Paper manufacturing technology at the time wasn't advanced enough to fully filter out tiny wood particles from the pulp, so toilet paper could sometimes hurt in ways you really didn't expect. As modern plumbing became more common in homes in the early 20th century, demand for toilet paper grew rapidly, but manufacturers spent years trying to fully solve the splinter problem. In fact, it wasn't until the 1930s that some brands proudly advertised their products as splinter-free, touting it as one of their biggest selling points. Demand for toilet paper exploded because flushing systems needed something that would dissolve. Rags clogged the pipes. Leaves didn't work. Corn cobs were never an option. The Sears catalogue didn't dissolve either. Toilet paper wasn't just about comfort anymore, it became infrastructure. Here's something most people don't realize. Toilet paper didn't just make people more comfortable, it helped cities survive. In the 1800s, rapidly growing cities faced a serious problem. Human waste was practically everywhere. Overflowing cesspools, contaminated drinking water, and sewage running through the streets made city life increasingly dangerous. The result was inevitable: deadly outbreaks. Cholera killed tens of thousands, while typhoid spread rapidly through contaminated drinking water. What seemed like a simple lack of hygiene was, at the time, the difference between life and death for millions of people. Dysentery spread through poor sanitation. Entire neighborhoods were wiped out. People didn't fully understand germs yet, but they knew something was wrong. The solution wasn't just flush toilets, it was an entire sanitation system: underground sewer networks, waste treatment, running water, and disposable materials that wouldn't clog the pipes. Toilet paper became essential because it dissolved. Rags clogged the infrastructure. Newspapers jammed the pipes. Improvised materials broke the system. As modern plumbing spread, toilet paper stopped being optional. Over time, it became an important part of a much larger public health transformation that extended human lifespans. With the spread of clean drinking water, the construction of modern sewage systems, and the development of personal hygiene habits, civilization underwent a change that was quiet but profound. And that ordinary roll of toilet paper we see in the bathroom today is, in fact, one of the silent but essential parts of that larger system protecting human health. Then the calendar turned to 2020. In the first days of the pandemic, as uncertainty swept across the entire world, people rushed to the stores, and surprisingly, one of the first things to disappear was toilet paper. Not just in one country, across different cultures, across different continents, store shelves around the world emptied out within days. This once humble product, once considered a luxury, showed the entire world all over again just how indispensable it had become to modern life. So why did people specifically turn to toilet paper? After all, it wasn't food, and it wasn't a life-saving medicine, but it was large, visible, and something needed every single day. A roll of toilet paper became a symbol of the confidence people felt in being able to meet their most basic needs. When uncertainty rises, people don't just shop to meet their needs, they also try to make themselves feel safe. In short, what they were really buying wasn't just toilet paper, it was a bit of control and reassurance. The toilet paper shortage revealed something deeper. Modern life depends on invisible systems working perfectly. Paper mills, shipping schedules, retail logistics. When those systems start to feel unstable, we instinctively reach for the basics: food, water, and yes, toilet paper. Because underneath all the technology and progress, we're still concerned with the same thing humans have always wondered about: how to live cleanly, safely, and with dignity. But really, toilet paper was only one part of this story, because for most of human history, there wasn't even a proper toilet to use it with. People relieved themselves in chamber pots, used communal latrines, or often just found the nearest empty patch of ground. So the real problem wasn't just cleanliness, it was having access to a safe, hygienic place to go in the first place. The modern bathroom we know today didn't appear overnight. It took an invention that permanently changed cities, homes, and hygiene. And that's where the story of toilet paper ends. But behind history's most ordinary-looking objects, there are dozens more surprising stories still waiting to be discovered. In the next episode, we'll be tracing the story of a food that today sits on almost every table, but that millions of people once approached with fear: the potato. Once believed to be poisonous, rejected across Europe for a long time, it went on to change the fate of continents, influence wars, and save the lives of millions. So how did an ordinary tuber become one of the most important foods in the world? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to leave a comment letting us know which everyday object or food's hidden history you'd like to see next. See you in the next video. Next time you step into the bathroom, take a closer look around you. That ordinary roll of toilet paper you reach for, the toilet you're using, the clean water flowing from the tap. None of it is there by accident. Each one is a quiet legacy of thousands of years of trial, error, and humanity's effort to build a healthier life. Because history is a lot closer than we think. It actually lives inside the ordinary things we touch every single day.